For years, I thought I was lazy. Because tell me why every time I will plan out something, I will have a plan, I'll actually commence something, and after a short while, I will quit without any reason. But I always had that passion of commencing something, but I never completed to the end. I'm going to give you an example. I started a YouTube channel back in 2020. I had so much passion for it. I created content. I gained a good number of followers. After a short while, I stopped posting, and that's how I deleted that YouTube account. After a while, I came back to YouTube. I created a new account again. I posted a few videos and I disappeared again. This is not just for YouTube. This was applicable for other areas of my life. I always see myself commencing things because I'm a very ambitious person. I always have ideas, plans, goals, things that I want to achieve, and I make a plan. I am good with planning because I believe that he who fails to plan plans to fail. So I always plan to start stuff, and I always start stuff. Like the passion is there, the zeal is there, and I'm going to commence it. But after a while, I'll just stop. I never lacked motivation to start with. The motivation was always there because that is what pushed me to start. But I never finished stuff. I always gave up halfway. At some point, I came to the conclusion that, girl, you are lazy. But I wasn't lazy. The truth is that it wasn't laziness because it actually became a pattern in my life until I had to sit down and ask myself some questions. What could be wrong with me? Why do I always start things? I have that passion. I start with full force, energy, but I end up never completing them. Like I look at my life and I have a lot of uncompleted projects. What could be the problem? Until I realized that I lacked one thing, and the one thing I lacked was a discipline. I had the zeal to start, I had the passion, I was highly motivated, but because I lacked discipline, I was unable to hold on, to continue, and to stay consistent. At the beginning of every project, I was usually quite excited, like I want to do this, and I actually start doing it. And I'm going to do it for a while, and after I will disappear and it will become an abandoned project. And instead of me to go back to it and continue from where I stopped, I'm actually going to pick another project and start working on it immediately until I'll get to a point again, I will disappear, and it kept going on and on in all aspects of my life. I am very good with beginnings, but continuity is never my thing. You will never find me there. And I am not a lazy person. Laziness is far from being the reason why. The reason why this kept on happening over and over again until I realized it was simply because I lacked a discipline. And my lack of discipline made me to be unable to stay consistent. And the result I was expecting to get from the project I was commencing was actually a reward of the consistency, and the consistency was what I never gave none of my project because I couldn't stay disciplined. And tell me, how will I stay consistent at the project when I do not have discipline? And how will I achieve greater results? I had to tell myself the truth. I had to sit down, think through and do something that I call an examination of conscience and tell myself the truth, because it wasn't laziness, even though I was trying to convince myself that I was lazy. But that wasn't the truth. It was far from being the truth. I am not lazy. I simply lacked discipline. And when I told myself the truth that I lacked discipline, then I understood why this has been happening over and over again for so many years. I just had to come to this realization that I didn't lack motivation, because I always had the motivation to start something. And this realization made me to understand something I had been ignoring for years. Without discipline, there is no consistency. And without consistency, there is no progress. There is no how I was going to progress in anything that I wasn't consistent in. And there is no how I was going to be consistent in anything I wasn't disciplined with. I just had to tell myself the truth. And it hurt so much because I had already convinced myself and, pamper and cajole myself that the reason why I was unable to continue with my plans is because I was lazy. Until I came to the realization that no matter how many ideas I have, no matter how many plans I have, no matter how ambitious I am, if I lack discipline, I can never stay consistent. Success is not about starting. Success is about staying. And in order for me to achieve anything in life, I need to stay consistent. And for me to stay consistent, I need to stay disciplined. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in another video. Bye.